Okay. Got my TikTok stream out the way earlier today. Jumping on YouTube. I have to redesign the full system, and I also want to make it a little bit less bandwidth intensive, so we're going to be swapping out some data types. It's actually a lot of work that needs to be done, but we are at the point where pretty much this is like one of the last structural things we got to do, and then I just got to get in there and start tweaking the values. Make sure the music isn't too loud. Little PB&J snack here. You know how I know I'm getting old? I enjoy a cup of cranberry juice. A younger me would have never drank a full cup of cranberry juice. And it's just cranberry juice. There's no liquor in there. No, don't get me wrong. A little cranberry and vodka. Chef's kiss. Pretty much did all of the foundational stuff. I just got to go and mess with the connections. There's connections everywhere to this asset right here. I don't want to do the baking thing anymore. I don't have to manage that anymore, and I don't have to since my game is running on the game thread now. Even though I do remember having that baking system way before. I think it did exist. It was there so that I didn't have to query the locations of a bone at runtime. But it's fine. It should be a fairly fast operation. We're not playing animation. We just need to scrub the data and get the local offset of the bone, which should technically be cached anyways if you really think about it. So I was like double caching it. But yeah, all that data is actually cached inside of the montage itself. I don't think I'll finish the system today, but we'll get most of the links up today. This transfer is actually way faster than I expected it to be. I took an off day yesterday. Wifey was at home. Well, realistically, I worked till 5 o'clock in the morning last night or yesterday, so not really an off day, just a sleep schedule transition day, basically. Went to go see the new Spider-Man movie. Oh man, it was good. It was really good.
At Kobe 1ER.
What's good, Kobe? It was a good storyline. I can see them expanding out the universe again a little bit. Right when they I'm not gonna do any spoilers, but they introduced a character that exists in the Marvel universe that we know, and essentially they can build a
At
whole
Kobe 1 ER. How's it been, bro?
pretty good. They could build a whole universe around that character if they wanted to. I've been pretty good though, man. Just been I haven't been streaming on YouTube. The last stream I did was on TikTok, and it went like it. The numbers were crazy on TikTok. I streamed earlier today on TikTok too. The numbers were still pretty good, but you know, not as crazy. So I was doing more technical stuff. So you know, it's a lot of kids on there with low attention spans. They see a wall of text. They don't give a fuck about that. But I'm still waiting to get approved so I can stream to both at the same time. Yeah, I've been moving over from Chaos Mover to regular Mover, which is it's not so far from the two things are kind of similar. It's just some bugs have been popping up, and I guess that's unavoidable. But we'll work through them. So I'm switching over from using the nested asset stuff that I was doing because I no longer need to bake out the information. Since I'm on the game thread directly, I can just access the anim montage, reach in there and grab that data, operate on that data. Don't have to do anything crazy. We also can handle notifies, all that stuff, notifications, anim notify layer, all that stuff can be handled within the Smart Move Evaluator the same way. We just gotta point it at these objects, and you see here I'm using a soft object pointer so that when the server loads one of these sections into memory, it doesn't load every single animation that's in it, because that could be what 1, 2, 8, 9, 10. It can be 28 animations, which is crazy to load into memory. For a this is just for a section too, not just a entire library. Entire library has 16 different animation sections in it. So 16 times 28 is 280 plus what? You know, I don't do math that fast. 28. 448 animations loaded into memory for just one database. So imagine I have default Kobe, LeBron, Curry, all these different move and databases loaded into memory. Memory would spike like a mother. So we're trying to remove that. We don't want memory to spike. Even though memory is like my lowest bottleneck right now, like it's fine. When I look at the dedicated server, memory is like the one thing that never really has a problem. All right. So with the data set up like that, we're about to have a bunch of errors over here because this is looking for this. Actually, this is how the system used to be before I swapped over to whatchamacallit, to Chaos Mover. So we pretty much need to swap this class out with anim montage. Oh yeah, there goes the errors. There they go. All right, we got to do this different. Move to check. Get last move data. Last move data was on there. Okay, this just evaluates the. Okay. We'll have to make this into a helper function. Motion matching windows. That's a that would be a notification. Low curves. What's this? Oh, these are the curves that got baked out. Okay. Global play rate. Just trying to find the stuff that has an equivalent. Blend out. Okay, a lot of these ones that are looking at the little data points, those can be swapped out just to search the notifies. Smart, yeah. So stuff like this, they could just be used to search the notify itself, and then we'd wrap this with another if check. Same thing with here. All right, so we might as well do that. And I know that happens in the smart move data, where I kind of bake that stuff out. So, like I said, I'm not the person that's gonna type code twice. Not if I don't have to. There it is, right there. Iterate over the notify events. Line ball. Make it on back here. So this same logic just needs to get wrapped with. Comment it out so I can still read it. So like I said, we can make a T array here. B smart move. I forget what this is. No, smart move event. keep the same code. Don't do too much work. Make this array, and then we'd iterate over it. This is not necessary right here, this code block. Yeah, that's not, ooh. That might be necessary. That's not too bad though, that's fine. But this is processing the event, which means that we'll have to go in and find that bone. Actually, let me bring this back because I need to see this. Find a location of the launch bone. When this event hits. Okay. So then we can also take this code right here because this is for the events. So we construct them right here. Then we iterate over them here. And this is actually where I think this tries to access the smart move data. Yeah. This is where we need to send that event. Okay. All right. This guy as well. What's this called? And swap event. Okay. Oop. Reward and swaps. You know what? I'm doing this wrong. The code was actually correct in the beginning. Every frame we need to construct the events and then iterate over them. Kind of trash, but will save me. Yeah, this still needs to have, hold on, let's go all the way back to, come on. Yeah, don't need to do this here. We do need to do this though. Construct these events, add them, do this code right here too, that's fine. That should probably be inside of here too. I don't know what to call this, but let's just say event transform. Bam, bam. Like me. Ooh, ooh. I don't care what they say. I won't let them talk about me. I don't care what they say. Oh, these actually, okay. And also these need to be, oops. This needs to be here. We need our smart move, RF, and swap events. And we're just going to keep these names the exact same. Are you tripping? Ambiguous symbol. Oh, I see why. Then we need the smart move rewards. Knockback. That. Oh yes, this is for crossovers. Yes, yeah. That's right. Oh, F. I don't know what I don't actually know what type that is. Add and remove tag smart event. Okay. All right, cool. Okay, then we uncomment this because this code is actually correct. We just don't use this smart move data, which sorry, hold on. Alright. Fix that code path. Yeah, this sucks because, like I said, we can't really cache. So if we do cache, we can cache. Don't get me wrong. We could cache every frame. Like for example, every frame. Excuse me. Every frame we could update these, and it shouldn't change as long as the move is the same. Those shouldn't change. It's just tough because when it comes to like rolling back and stuff like that, those have to be maintained properly. But I'm thinking it might be smart to just keep them in memory. Make sure we roll them back. Or maybe maybe instead of processing the events, we have a function that says generate or populate car move events. It could probably be the same thing as this function minus the output state. Or I think we use the output state to find the move, yeah. What is this for? Do we use the params at all in here? I don't think we use the params at all. Oh yeah, we do. To pass. Yeah, so all this needs is the... I'm gonna just say we just need a const reference of this. We'll just call this the current state. Oh shit. Rip. Realistically, the thing that we actually need is the smart move. We do need to know that we might need the entire sync state. That might just be the safest thing. F mover sync state. Yeah, that just might be the best thing. And then we can all this code that we have in here to do all the yeah, pretty much everything from here. This needs to go in the other function here, and then these need to go here. And in order for us to figure out the smart move, we need this right here. Well, because we're not actually changing this data. Bitch. me think here. Technically, if we don't have these two things, just to be safe, we don't have this or viewed status. Then turn here, and then technically we only need to do this once. Like we only need to do this once. So we should do this whenever we queue the move. Like whenever we. Let me find this code. Update active move could be a possible place, but not really. Maybe after this gets called. I know this gets called in a good spot. Apply new smart move could be good. So we update the active move, then we generate smart move events. That's the time step, and then this would be the output state, right? The move that's getting generated. Output state, not sync state. So this will generate this. But yeah, this should clear out. This should pretty much clear these all out. Well, we could clear these all out. Just so we don't have a bunch of shit in there. Sure. And then we can use the cache here. Now, if this cache is not equal, that's going to be a problem. Like if the client tries to cheat. If the client is trying to cheat, use a move, like activate a move that the server is not activated, I mean, go ahead. The server is still going to activate the move. The move that's actually supposed to be activated will be serialized to every other client. So the clients will see the move that's supposed to be happening. You could be doing whatever the fuck you want. You could do whatever you think you want to do on the client, but what's happening in real life is what everybody else will see. Cheat if you want to. You'll on your screen you'll look like you're doing some fancy shit, but everybody else's screen you're just doing a crossover. Good luck. Oh, okay. Actually, technically that's that's a tough one. Because if we have an active move, when we generate that move's events, we'll cast those motion matching events. But then when we trying to pose match to another move, so when we start a new transition, by this time, I think we already have generated the whatchamacallit by this time. Yeah, by this time the move that we want to generate the move that we want to transition to is already like the events are already cached. Because we would apply the move, generate the move's events, and then here when we start to transition to the move, because technically we're still in our last move before we hit this function call. So then this should end up using, we don't need the move to transition to because we should already have that. Wait, do we not have that yet? Oh shit, that's not good. Hold on. So we actually need to call, we actually need to call this afterwards, or inside. This needs to be called inside. Is this a const function? It's not const. We actually need to call this inside of here once we figure out what move we're doing. So yeah, once we get this guy, that is when we need to, where do we do the pose matching? I feel like we try to pose match early. Where is pose matching at? Right here. Yeah, it needs to happen before here. So this doesn't actually need the output state, it needs to move to transition. It needs the new move, basically. I don't think we need this queued status, to be honest with you. Yeah, that's something else. We'll need this or this. All that is just to figure out this animation, which we already know. Alright, cool. So then, like I said, we need to call this here. And then inside a pose match, we should be able to just use the cache motion matching windows. Only thing is that we don't have the cache pose information. But we're knocking down these errors really quickly. Oh, this is one thing right here. Transition coverage angle curve name. No, this is fine. This should be a curve inside of the actual thing. Yeah, technically we should be able to just get this from the animation. I don't know if we know the animation yet. feel like we can pass in a time here. Yeah, we can pass in a delta time. Did I say get curve data? There we go. That's... Wait. This doesn't take anything? Okay. I need to know what's happening here. Oh, this returns a float. Okay, this is the one I need right here. It takes in a curve name, a extraction context. Okay. So the curve name is this guy. And then the extraction context. And then this is my float. Alright. Nice. It's actually translating pretty well. Get last pose info. Now that's tough. This will have to be done a little bit different. Essentially, we would need to we would basically evaluate the bone location and pass that location into here, or the transform into here. So that'll be something I'll do in a sec, because I gotta look that code up. Move data. Adds curve data. And then this is a float. Basically, we're just going to return move data dot evaluate eval u8 curve data. Give it the curve slot and the f canon extraction context. Curve. Same thing here. Sample position is what we need. Move data doesn't have a global play rate. This actually needs to be. This actually needs to be whatchamacallit? Not the global play rate. Spec rate equals sim rate. This needs to be the player's montage rate. Because technically the player has a... Shouldn't that be the cast? Should we call that? Or, okay, so we're not even calling this. I think we might only call this one, where we pass in the time. And fine usages. But we don't call this one either. What? Oh, because, okay. The code where we used to call this does not use the anim montage. But yeah, you can see here. But I think here we generate this time and then we base it on the play rate. Yeah. Okay, cool. I'm thinking I'm gonna get rid of this. No, this function might still get used. If it does, here, I'm gonna comment it out. If it does, it needs to be fixed because it's wrong. It's using the wrong math. Get root motion transform from our extract root motion from range. This actually needs to be done different. I think we can actually call. Yeah. Track position, track. Is there another one? Extract root motion that we can pass in. An extraction context. F anim. Track context, we can give it a time, and we can give it true. Alright, the only other error is this one, which, if I'm not mistaken, this should be pretty easy, I think. So we should be able to say move to check, extract root motion at this time. What does this give me? A transform, right? Gives me a transform. Move back. Hit. Extract root trap transform. So there's no way to grab this at runtime? I don't know if this is editor only. What is this again? It's in animation modifier library. It's in plugins animation. Animation modifier library, or animation modifier.
At Joey Brazil.
Animation
Please release your
library.
game soon.
Modifier.
NBA The Run is trash.
Stop, man. Why you say it's trash? Uncooked only, pre-default. Yeah, so this doesn't get cooked. Basically, you can't use this code at runtime. I think that's the case. Why can't you use this?
At Joey Brazil. Online only, matchmaking is terrible, no local play. At Joey Brazil. Every game 3-point contest.
Yeah, I mean, technically my game will be trash because some of those things will be like online only. I'll let you play the game offline, but I don't like what when you're looking for offline, you're probably looking for like a single player, my player experience, or like a storyline, or like play against, like what NBA Street, where you have to play like against all the teams in the different cities. I forget what that game mode was. Technically, I don't plan on having those game modes on release, but only because I can't afford to spend the time on it. Like, in order to make it a good experience, you got to get some voice acting, you got to get some animations for it. You got to build up a story basically to make players want to play it. You can't just say, okay, round 1 play against this random team, round 2 play against this random team. It's got to be like, the story, the characters that we Biggie Smalls, Bonafide. It's got to be like characters you can remember. Even though in NBA Street it was kind of like that. You went to the section of the map and it was like, okay, in order to play Bonafide, you had to beat all these other mini bosses basically, or these other mini teams. So something like that could be done, but personally, I don't think I want to do that because it's not an innovation. It's just a copy of something that already happened. An innovation of that would be to like generate a story and maybe make some kind of rivalry, because the game is called Rivals Basketball. So create some kind of rivalry between you and someone else, or you and some other side, like your side and some other side. But like I said, stuff like that requires a bigger budget, because I gotta reach out to voice actors. If you want it to be good, you gotta reach out to voice actors, gotta spend time doing mocap animations for the acting, you know what I mean? Like, it's gotta be like a more of a cinematic experience, that's a whole different pipeline than games, making like cinematics and shorts and stuff. It could be simplified. Maybe I'll find a way to simplify it to where I can manage most of it by myself. Because I have made a short before. Like, I made like a little short before. I did some voice acting. It wasn't good, but I'll play it. It wasn't the greatest thing. Maybe I could just look myself up on Twitter. I think I have to be signed into Twitter to use it. Oh, come on. Can I just continue as a guest? I don't know. We'll just do this here. Oh, fuck. Nice. That was actually the email for this. Did not know that. Can I go to where's my thing at? Here it is. You can tell how much I use fucking... Yeah, I made this little short right here a long time ago, 2020. Let's let it load.
Brazil. Will you have bots or able to play local?
Yeah. I want to redo my AI like my old AI was kind of dumb, and they didn't really play basketball. They literally just they try to avoid you and avoid what was in front of them, and if they had an open shot, they'll take it. But they didn't try to play basketball. You know what I mean? Like, all right, you cut. I'm dribbling here so that you can cut and that you can go, and then I can cross over and maybe do like a pull up at the top of the key. It wasn't anything like that. It was, you know, whoever if you somebody's on you for 3 seconds, throw the ball to somebody else. It was like really simplified logic, but I have a way to make it more advanced. It's the way that my game is programmed now, I can make the AI more advanced. That's the best thing about what I'm doing. Oh yeah, I was gonna pause the music. All right, let's listen to this foolishness here.
You're not even listening. Our tribe has been guided and protected by the snow for centuries. And if we let fear ruin everything that we have built, then what was it?
Can y'all hear this? It's low for me, so I figure it's extra low for y'all.
Come on, Adrina. You're not even listening. Our tribe has been guided and protected by the snow for centuries. And if we let fear ruin everything that we have built, then what was it for? I know the Verk want war, but I shall not cast the first stone. We shall remain hidden. And when the snow falls, that is where we will travel next.
It looks trash
That
because
is
of
how it
Twitter.
has always been.
This actually was a really good
that's
short.
That's not good enough. What do you suggest we do? I suggest we take the fight to them before it comes to us.
I should have used like a little voice changer for the woman's
Well, if that's
voice.
what you feel, then there's no stopping you. I won't stand in your way, Adrina, but just be safe.
It was this is trash. This is trash. It's not trash, but like looking at it, I know it's trash. But it could be better, is what I'm trying to say. It's not like awful. Don't get me wrong. The compression for Twitter is dog shit. That looked way better in game. But the
At Joey
compression is just
Brizzo.
dog shit.
Is this for Avatar?
No, it was a game jam that I did a long time ago, and I was just trying to separate myself a little bit. So I had like a little opening short, and I was also trying to learn. I use that game jam to I use game jams to learn. So I was trying to learn character creator in the iClone pipeline into Unreal. So it was like my first time making a character in character creator, animating it, like doing the facial mocap with the iPhone, and doing the phonemes with the mouth and stuff like that, and like correcting it inside of the timeline, and then sending that to Unreal and using that like in sequencer. So it was like a learning experience for that type of stuff. But yeah, it was pretty. It was for when I did that. Like considering I think that was like that's my second year of game development. That's my second year of game development, and I was trying to do shit like that. Well, I was an overachieving motherfucker, boy. I tell you. But yeah, so it won't be too hard to do offline stuff with a good storyline. It's just that I need voice actors, and I think now with Mesh to MetaHuman, it'll be a lot easier because I think you can do audio to animation or something like that. Like you can do lips, you can do audio where someone's talking and it'll do the lip sync for you with the MetaHumans. So that would be really helpful because then I don't have to do a facial mocap for the emotions, and maybe I can capture the audio or get the person who's doing the voice to record themselves, get the actual facial mocap like a baseline, and then add the emotion on top of it with animation, like additive animation layers. That could be done, but
At
that's
Joey Brizzo.
that's down the line.
Just being able to play against another person locally 2 controllers is better than NBA The Run. You can't even do that.
And I don't know why they don't have that as an option. For me, it's going to be harder because you have to play split screen. Like you actually have to split the screen in half because each player controls their own character. It's not like you play um, broadcast camera, and you can just see each other on the screen and shit. So I don't know why they don't have that. To me, I'm gonna be honest with you. I'm not making any excuses for NBA to run. I think that they don't give a like. I think that they really don't care about their users. Honestly, I really think that they squandered their funding, and now they're just trying to do all that they can, do as little as they can, so that they can recoup first, and then once they have a little bit, probably once they get into the green, they'll start doing more stuff. But yeah, I'm not making no excuses for their ass. That if I had that budget, if I had that team, bro, you would be playing your favorite basketball game right now. I promise you. But not everybody gets those opportunities, and then those opportunities are fucked up by those people who get the opportunities and they squander them. So let me look up uncooked only, because if I'm not mistaken, uncooked, like I just, not trying to brag about that short, but in my second year as a solo, I tried to have a fucking story with voice acting and like, you know what I'm saying, like shit like that. And we got a company that's a veteran company, 18 employees, and they don't have anything like that. Like what were they doing for the 5 years? What were they doing for the 5 years that game was in development? What were they doing? I'm disappointed in them. And since they went for a cash grab, it's gonna make everybody else feel like, oh, here's another cash grab. Oh fuck. Okay, yeah. So that means all of the motion extraction stuff is uncooked. I don't know why though. I don't know why they chose to do that. Animation, get bone pose. This is just a default. This is here. I'm almost 100% sure that this is here because of safety. Because this code runs when there is no world. So I'm almost 100% sure I could take this as it is and use it myself. Like, B component space. I mean, what's the other space? World space? So I think I need to make a function like this for my evaluator. This way we can grab. Now this bone container, I'm not sure where that comes from. Okay, required bones, T-array. Ooh, that is a lot. That is a lot going on in there. So look for the animation, look for the skeleton, uh, find. Why is this only doing one bone? Maybe this happens over multiple bones? Maybe this, maybe. It looks like bone name is root here. Okay, I got an idea. Essentially, we need this code to generate the bone. What is that called? I forget the name of this. Bone container. That's what we need. Something about this guy too. We probably need this too. Okay. Thank you, Unreal. So we're gonna not use any of these. And maybe we just go anim montage here. F transform. Rocket type. But yeah, you gotta wait at least 6 months for this game to be like playable in a grand scale type of thing. Need to know the bone name. Okay. Relative to bone. So B use relative bones is a space equal to relative to bone. I'm not sure. Hold on. Let me look at a motion extractor. I think we want to get the I think we want the component space or relative to bone index. So will we make it relative to the root bone? Let's look. Let's look at some animation here. Mm, 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 mm. So I think we can do a what's this called again? Data modifiers, motion extractor. Let's see the default. So the default space is local space. Whether to extract the bones transforms relative to the first frame of the animation. Hmm. Oh yeah, this is why I didn't do this. It only extracts out float curves. You can like extract out a vector curve. Um yeah, so I guess we want to use local space. So we'll get this out of here. I think we always want to use local space for the bone. So what's this say? Only makes sense. It says when space is equal to relative to bone operations only makes sense to do in component space. Okay, so if okay. I think this only needs to be here because it's not happening in the editor. Wait, so does this move through the animation? Why would I want to force the root lock though? Like, what if I want to know? What if I want to know where the bone is with the root motion? Okay, this I have questions about, but the rest of the code that we need for this is in this guy. I think there's an easier way to do this to where we don't have to do all this work. I just think that this is mostly for the editor. Um, Here, let's use Gemini because I'm pretty sure there's an easier way to do that. Hmm. Okay, this won't work because the animation is not going to play on the server, so that path doesn't work. And low-level C++ pose access. If you need to query the bound transforms frequently at runtime during a TIG or custom C++ logic, current animated local pose. This caches the current animated frames parent space transforms in an array. Okay, pose snapshot. See, all this stuff uses animation. So I'm starting to realize this is why I have to bake this data out into curves because I don't want my server playing the animation just so that it could access the data in the animation. Like, I feel like the server should just be able to read the local transforms and then convert that into world transforms. I really don't want my server ticking the skeletal mesh component. But maybe it's not too bad but realistically it would be bad. I'm not gonna lie. Because every player will be triggering all these montages at different times. It'll be just a fucking nightmare. So sample and anim sequence directly at a timestamp. If you know which animation and frame/time you want to evaluate, for example, reading a weapon bone pose at 5 seconds, half second. Okay, you can sample the sequence asset directly in C++. Excuse me. This bypasses this, and the skeletal mesh takes completely. Get and sequence get bone transform. Damn, is that simple? Really? To get this in world space on the server, accumulate the chain local transforms up to the parent bone hierarchy to the root bone, then transform by the skeletal mesh's world transform. What does that mean? To get this into world space on the server, accumulate / chain the local transforms up to the parent bone hierarchy to the root bone,
Travo.
then
Hey.
transform. What's good, Travo? Then transform by the skeletal mesh components world transform. And then this is what I used to do, this on-demand manual evaluation where you turn on the mesh when the server needs to read the skeletal mesh. So if you want the server to keep track of character states and only evaluate bones when a specific gameplay event occurs, you can disable automatic animation ticket and trigger evaluation manually. This is force pose evaluation on demand when the server receives a combat packet or event. Force the mesh to evaluate its current pose for that frame only. Refresh bone transforms. This gives you an updated bone transforms for that specific frame without paying the animation costs on all frames in between. Really? See, technically, I feel like this is still ass though. But it wouldn't be bad to do this. I would have to see what it looks like though.
Travo.
I would have to see what that
I
looks
will be
like.
buying your game when it releases.
Thanks, bro. You and me both. So at least I know I got 2 sales. I want that's double the sales I was anticipating. Not playing. Thanks though, man. That's good news. Yeah, I need to see what that looks like. So what we're gonna do is disable the skeletal mesh tick here for a bit. Let's turn this off. No. And only tick pose when rendered. Okay. And then here we'll do some nasty code here. Tick. And then we'll have a oops. We'll have something that does that. Oh, you can't call this. That tick enabled maybe? You know what? I'd rather do this like this. Timer by event, right? So this will just be my fake fixed tick. And then we'll just do this here instead. So do this. Set this to be enabled. I don't feel comfortable since I can't manually call this the way that I want to. I don't think that this is going to be a good test, but we'll try it out.
Travo. What has been the biggest challenge so far during development?
I would have to say animations because it requires so much focus. Like usually when you're programming, you could paint broad strokes and really solve a lot of stuff really fast. But animation, like you gotta like zero in on the smaller details and stuff.
At Trevo.
Time
I believe
consuming.
in you, man.
Thanks. Start fake tick. That's what we're going to do here. And we'll do this here. Promote fake tick. Boom, boom. Okay, I'm gonna do this really gross, like, where did you come from, babe? And ooh, won't you take me there? That way, won't you, baby? Tenderoni, you got to be. And don't you know now is the perfect time? Okay, and then we'll have a debug key that we'll press. Let me take it to the max. I want to love you. PYT. What the hell is going on here? And I think you did. Yes, I will. Yes, I will. Wait, 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 wait. Oh, baby. Do middle mouse button. I know I don't have anything for that. Press. Yeah, we'll just start big tick here.
At Trevo. Will there be a stamina system?
Yes. The stamina system already exists. I just don't have it turned on. So having a build with high stamina, low weight, because weight will also influence how fast your stamina drains. Having a low, oh god, having a low weight build with a high stamina will let you sprint for longer. You might be weaker, but you'll be able to sprint for longer. Oh darling. Should I just do flip flop here, right? Flip flop. Stop. Tick tick. Wait, 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 wait. So what I want to do is activate a move and then snap through this like that. I want to do a move. Oh, you know what? Well, as long as we're not debugging, it should just be fine. Here, let's just make sure we're not ever hitting a breakpoint right now because the code is broken. Wait, 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 wait. Oh, come on, dude. Banana. Come on, dude. Damn, I'm not gonna be able to test this. All right, we can test it in a fuck. I have to open another project to test this actually, because there's still compilation bugs in my current one right now. Do do do. Always keep a backup. I want to love you. PYT.
At Trevo.
Anywhere you want
I
to
hope we
go.
can have builds similar to real life, like a quick tall guard with skills like a Cooper flag, or a tall small forward like KD who can dribble well.
Yeah, I don't gate the builds that bad. I do think that they need to be balanced a little bit because right now it feels like you can right now it feels like there's no downsides to making a tall character. Minus the fact that that they are heavier by default. So also by default they'll burn through their stamina a lot faster. But one thing that I want to do is a taller person in my entire life has always been slower to do things. Like I'm not saying that they're not faster than people, like because Usain Bolt, what was he like 6'5"? Is he what? How tall is Usain Bolt? That dude's like he's a taller man, like taller than a normal size man, taller than other track stars. Usain Bolt height
At Trevo. 6'5".
6'5". Yeah, I was right. So he's 6'5", running like how he run, but 6'5" is not 7 foot. You know what I'm saying? You gotta think 7 foot is 7 more inches than 6'5". Usain Bolt's one of the fastest people in the world, if not the fastest. He's probably not the fastest anymore. Didn't somebody beat his shit? Didn't somebody beat his 100-meter dash or 200-meter? I can't remember. I don't pay attention like that. But he's up there with speed. So I'm thinking like bigger players should should naturally move slower. But right now, like the speed difference is not that big. So I gotta balance out some stuff too. But right now, yeah, you can make a build. Like right now, I got a build that's a Wimby build in my in the cook version of the game that I have on the computer. I got a Wimby build that's 7'4", can dribble quick, get to his spot, spin moves, step backs, pulling up, and it's actually pretty OP. I ain't gonna lie to you. Like being able to move like that is OP. So having something like that will basically mean that there's just gonna be a bunch of people playing 7 foot guard, and that's fine with me. You know what I mean? If everybody's playing it, then everybody has to defend against it. But it's going to be to the point where there's if it's so good to play tall players, there's not going to be any people playing short players, and then the people playing short players will complain because it's not balanced. And that's a reason why I didn't want to have a height and weight thing. I just wanted every character to be the same height because then it would be about skill. It wouldn't be about height and weight and shit like that. There was a version I had where the players were actually robots, and instead of height and weight, tuned you tuned the robot, like the tuning of the robot affected like speed and stuff like that. Um, but I got away from that since I felt like players weren't gonna like fucking robots. Oh my god, thank you, thank you. Oh baby, oh darling. But anywhere you wanna go. All right, again, come in here, turn this tick off, put this on only tick when rendered, turn that off, turn this off, and then let's do our custom events, fake tick, and we'll grab this guy, set tick, enabled, component tick enabled. There we go. I don't even know what I did in my other thing. Hmm, I guess I could just do this. See you there, see you there. Flip, flop. But there was something else I wanted to do to simulate this for real. I wanted to actually call a function here that turned this on. Set timer. Huh. Because if I can get away with the simple version, it'll be better for me to do that. But I think that is a problem. Like ticking the entire skeletal mesh. Like that shit takes a lot of time on the game thread. And then if I'm doing it for a bunch of players, ooh wee, that's hectic. Because I think it has to tick the animation blueprint. That's like one of the main reasons why I don't want to do that. But
At Trevo.
we'd have to
Yeah.
do a trace and see what the dedicated server looks like whenever that happens. But I would prefer to just do this, where we just reach into the skeleton, grab the bone transform, and then I don't know what this means. Extracting curves. If you only need the root motion or custom curves, call this or query a curve values from the asset directly without touching the bone matrices. So what does this statement mean? On accumulate chain. Yeah, I'd rather do that because I don't have to tick. Because realistically, I don't care about anything other than, hold on, that might not be true. No, during a montage, I don't care about anything other than the actual pose. Like, I don't care about shit else. I don't care about additive animation, any of that stuff. None of that stuff really matters in the terms of that montage. Like, there might be additive animations to add like life, but I want the underlying static pose so that both the client and the server have like a point that they can agree on. Because again, if there's additive or procedural animation, that means the server has to tick the animation blueprint, which is a pretty heavy task. M- Might I say a waste. So when we start the fake tick, we'll do this. When we do this, we'll do this. And then basically what this is going to do is delay to the next tick. And then set this false, basically. Right? Yeah, we'll do it like that. So that this skeletal mesh only ticks for one frame. What the hell is this? Oh, forgot. Gotta be in one of these maps. Character movement basics. Oh, fuck. Of course he's in idle. Okay, so he's not animating. I would expect him to snap, but hold on. Am I using the right key? Middle mouse button pressed. This is ticking, right? Toggle. Yeah, that's running. Baby. This is false. Okay, let's pause this logic then. Okay, I didn't see myself snap to that pose. That's the thing that's bothering me. Is that you know what? Let's do this. Should we go? No, I think that'll be the same thing. So hold on, if this is true, do this, and then set this false, right? Okay, what I want is for this to tick one frame and stop, and I should have control over that. Oh, jeez. Wait, what? The fuck? How'd that start off with true? I don't get it. How are we starting off moving? That should not be the case. Okay, that's not listening to me. This should be false. If this is true, we do this, and then we do this. Maybe there's no way. Yeah, that's not supposed to be ticking. All right, let me remove this. Maybe I fucked up some. I don't know how this guy's animating. This guy should not be animating. His movement component should be, or his component should be what? Yeah, he should not be ticking here. And I want to love you. Yeah, this component, this guy. Anywhere you want to go. Can I eject here? There's not much information here. I can't tell if it's ticking or not. I don't know what that's about. I want to disable this. What the fuck? How is he moving? Okay, maybe the other pawn overrides that, maybe. Wasn't this just working? I feel like it was just working. Maybe. Yes, I will. Yes, I will. I know I'm not actually spawning with that guy. I'm spawning with this guy. That's kind of annoying me. There's no reason why this guy's animation should be running. I'm literally starting it turned off. This is false by default. It's a weird one. He should literally just be sliding here. What the fuck? I'm at a loss. That guy should just be sliding. I didn't change anything about the defaults. This was just working, by the way. Ooh, 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 ooh. Yeah, that's actually gonna frustrate me. Because in my mind, I can't think of any reason why the skeletal mesh is not ticking, or why it is ticking. Gotta love the weird ones. It was just working. Like, literally, it was just working. Let's try this again. Yeah, now we're not even affecting this guy's tick at all. Huh, that's weird. I have no idea why that's the case. Base animated. Maybe they're getting overridden. Here, I guess we can start by setting it false just to be a hard ass here. Set this false. Do this. Now we're sliding. Yeah, what I'm expecting is when I click this button, he should snap to the next pose, but he doesn't. So I don't know how much time needs to be in between the let's see. I guess we can go here and we can just see how much delay time needs to be there. Delay. So this is maybe, how much is this in frames? Can I click in here, please? Unreal Engine divided by this value. I'm about to get frustrated. Divided by this 12 frames. So that 0.2 is basically 12 frames. Okay, so definitely 12 frames is enough time for it to calculate. But hold on, does it go back to? Oh, you know what it should. Okay, I think the mistake is on me. Um, we should do this. That's what I'm expecting to happen, but it doesn't happen with one frame. So, I guess let's go 2 frames. I can see it. I can see him jittering just a little bit. You see him jittering just a little bit? He's jittering. It's just that it doesn't snap to the pose. So that wouldn't actually work. But I guess we would know um what is it, cuz it suggested that you snap you tick the animation and refresh the bones here. But this is not the same thing, bro. Picking the animation for 0 delta time, that's not going to put you in the exact place that the character's pose is in. Oh my god. Good stretch. Read the bind rest pose, 0 runtime overhead. If you do not need the animated pose, you only need to know the character's base skeletal structure, the socket, attachment points, and default hitboxes. Read directly from the assets reference skeleton. Accumulating or changing transform means starting at your target bone and working your way up the skeletal tree, multiplying each bone's local transform by its parent's transform until you reach the root. Here's why that's necessary and how the hierarchy works and how to write it in code. Okay, so in Unreal Engine animation sequences, the bone transforms are stored relative only to their immediate parent bone, local space. The hand offset is stored relative to the forearm. Okay, forearm is stored relative to the upper arm to the spine, and so on and so forth. So if the hand's local animation key says 10, 0, that means 10 units away from the forearm. It tells you nothing about where the hand is in the world because you don't yet know where the forearm and the rest of the bones are. So chaining it means, oh, so this is actually really expensive. I would say that this is really expensive to do at runtime, right? Because you have to go, like, if you're trying to get the weapon bone, you'd have to get the hand bone, get the forearm, get the upper arm, get the clavicle, get the spine, all the way down from to pelvis, then to root. That's like 12 bones, I think. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Because there's 5 spine bones in the metahuman. Pelvis 11, and then root is 12. So you have to do this math 12 times. I don't think it's that harsh of an operation. I'm pretty sure it's cheaper than taking the entire skeletal mesh for a whole frame. Um, okay, hold on. So the target bone name. Can I expand this? So we get our skeleton, get our current bone index, which is the target bone. Start with identity, no transform. Okay. And then while the current bone index is not equal to index none, so look up through every parent bone until we hit index none, which is above the root. Okay. So track index, get skeletal, get animation track index, current bone name, current bone index, anim sequence, bone local transform, track index is not equal to index none. We extract, we get the bone transform, and then we fall back to the default reference pose if the specific bone isn't keyed in the animation. Okay. And this should never be the case, but I guess it's a good. So chain or multiply the local transform with the parent transform built so far in Unreal Engine. Child transform times uh, parent transform transforms the child into the parent space. So component transform equals component transform times uh, bone bone local transform. Why not use times equals here? And then step up to the parent bone index. So get parent bone index. Okay. And then multiply the final component space transform by the actor component's world transform. So this will be the component space transform times the component space transform for the mesh. And then you return that transform. Okay, not a bad function. We don't need this because we can just access the mover component in this case. So I'm going to take this verbatim. We just got to make a couple of edits to it. Let's take this to the evaluator. I think I got a function similar to this. Do we need to know the time? We need to know the time, right? Time in seconds, yeah, that does exist. Okay, so it's pretty much this function, but accumulated. So let me remove all of this. I mean, some of the stuff is similar, but we need. Oops. I wonder, does this matter if we're using a montage or not? Okay. Yeah, let's do you. We actually, hold on. If we don't have our mover component, that's when we'll, because we actually know what our base transform is, our base. But is that getting the actual world transform of the skeletal mesh component? I think it's getting the world transform. Yeah, that's the world transform. So we need to know a little bit more data than just this. We need to know our current trend, like our current transform, which would also mean that we would need to know the last transform, the last frames transform too. Oof, that's tough. Hmm. Is there a better way to do this? My mouse is about to die. So if we're trying to get the last pose, I would have to know. I think I keep the last sync state somewhere on the mover component. I think the last sync state is from the sync state before, but I don't know when I populate that. It might be basketball mover component last sync state. No, maybe it's on the mover component. Maybe they added that to the mover component. I could have sworn that I had to do that last sync state. Last update velocity. Last input vector. Eh, maybe it is on the mover component then. Because I've seen this variable before. The last sync state. What? Last mover default state. There it is right there. And it's protected. Is this a getter yet? Is it wrapped in a getter? Okay. So that's actually good though. That's good for us. Means we can go ahead and make our own, where we get a. I'm not gonna get the. Well, I guess we can get the pointer. That's fine. So this will be a F mover default sync state pointer. I think it's const too. I want to say it was const. I might be tripping. I think it's yeah, const pointer. Const get last mover. Okay, that should help us out a little bit. Okay, so now what do we need? We got our time. We have our. We need our current location. Our current, because we need to transform our updated component so we can multiply that against the base offset of the visual component transform, if that makes any sense. I've done this before. It's inside of the, here, let me close some of these classes real quick. Close, and then in the physics basketball simulation, whenever I get the launch transform, I'm pretty sure I do that math. Where is this at? I do this math somewhere. Let me find it. Get bone launch socket transform. That's what it is. So we get the mesh world transform, which is the mesh base transform times the active transform, and then we get the bone this is basically the math that we need to do to like at the end of that function here. Once we get, that's exactly what this is trying to do right here. A moment to moment, I love you like I'm running out of time. It's tomorrow ain't promise. No more back and forth. Let's make love like we're running out of time. Mover, get, let me think here. I think it's get base visual component set off. Yep. And then we need to mover dot get updated component transform. Sounds like I just I'm falling in love. Since I got you open, I'm falling. So that's this math right here. Baby. And then we just need to change this to be a animation. Since I got you here right now. Baby, doesn't see you smile. And you know it works with my mind. Ooh. Get animation track index. I had a feeling that that didn't exist. And you know how I go. Oh yeah, I'ma take my time. Oh yeah, I'ma thank your mama for them big old thighs that bring me back to life. Okay, so this doesn't exist in the, how can I say this? This doesn't exist in the montage because the montage can have multiple animation tracks. So, I mean, the safe thing would, we know that technically there should only be a single animation track, but do I ever see myself, I don't ever see myself taking a montage and like saying, okay, this animation plays on top, this animation plays on bottom. Excuse me, because you can do that in the montage. You can say this animation plays in this slot, this animation plays in this slot. One thing we could do is, since we want to know the transform of a specific slot, we can just find that slot, and then whenever we make our montages, we can make sure to use that slot. You get what I'm saying? If that makes any sense. The only way I can explain this is visually. So by default, here, let's look for any montage. And she's addicted and I like it. Hands up when you riding. Sorry, I have to listen to music or my brain will start playing a playlist. So yeah, what the hell? So let's say, I was about to pause the music again. But let's say I had another slot in here. You can add, like, if this had another slot, I guess I could go to the slot manager and make another slot. Wait, why didn't it let me add a new slot? That's kind of weird. Oh, because default group only has, so let's add another slot. Say, do this. Oh my god. Add slots. Call it upper like that. And if I had upper slot in here, I could play a different animation in here. Let's just get like this. And basically what would happen is when I tell the, you wouldn't be able to see it in here, but when you tell the anim instance to play this slot by name, and it also has this slot too, it will trigger both of these to play at the same time. And most of the time, I'm never going to do that. Like, I don't even know of an edge case where, and let me turn the volume down because I know I turned that shit up for the whatchamacallit. Sorry, whoever was watching this shit wasn't looking and just music started blasting, my bad. But yeah, I don't ever see an edge case where I do this. Like, I can't even think of one where I need to have like an upper body slot and a lower body slot, or maybe like yeah, that's the only thing I can think is you would split it by upper body and lower body. I wouldn't do like a left hand, right hand type of slot or anything like that. Yeah, so I don't really see myself ever doing that. So I'm just gonna get the first slot, and then if I do add this like another slot, I'll come in here and do that. So this function not existing. Get animation track index. I don't know if this is actually a function. It takes in an anim sequence. Okay. So in order for us to get the actual anim, I think we have to iterate over the track or the slot tracks, the slot animation tracks. There they go. And let me see what this. What is this? It's an array, right? Of a struct, and this has a slot name and an anim track. So let's get the first one here just to see what we got. Anim track has the anim segments. Oh, so the segments would be the sections, I think. Like if I had a start, a loop, and an end, but I don't have that. Technically, I would only have one segment per animation. Now, let me think here. There was a part of me that wanted to go back to having like the segmented animations, but in a cook build I was having a problem with it. So, and I don't think I got to do this here. Let's add a new section for loop or whatever. So this would be like a new segment like that. And I don't think there's a way to tell this segment to not automatically blend out. You get what I mean? Because if that was the case, I could put both the start and the action inside of here. And so I could have like a transition animation or montage that was separate. And then I could have this animation that's just, it'll just play the start and it will sit and wait until I triggered it to do the next section. But technically there's not a way to do that, which means that you got to do it the raw way, pretty much. I got to go to the bathroom. But yeah, basically here we would get this segment and we would just get the first one, and then I think from here, this is what we can call get this animation track. No, that's not an animation yet. Maybe this has the actual animation. There it is. The anim reference. What? I still don't have that? Oh no, it takes in. Okay, so it takes in a uanim sequence. So I would say uanim sequence pointer equals cast. Hello? Yeah, I stopped the TikTok stream. The fridge? I mean the pantry? What do you want, Bean? I'm still working. I'm on. You are a needy. You are a needy baby. You want to vent? No. Stop looking at yourself. Huh? Yeah, I get tired of looking at myself. Please. This is a static function. Oh no. Where can I call this function from? For what? You gonna leave it there so it just gets eaten up? I don't know where I can call this function from. Get animation track index. And then this doesn't work because I think this function is also, no, it's not static. It's on anim sequence. It needs the bone index. What do we need this track index for? I think this function is wrong. Skeleton pose bone index. This represents a skeleton bone index which may differ from the skeletal mesh bone index it corresponds to. Oh, because it's based on the animation, not the, it's based on the keyframes from the animation. This, I don't think there's an equivalent to this function. This needs a sequence, so I can probably call it from here. This is what I was saying earlier about AI code. It usually is wrong. Like it has a general idea, but it doesn't know the functions that it should call. Get out of here so I did that. Do you like my naked face? Yeah. Because I was looking like a wolf. And I'm streaming for, you know, potentially a bunch of people. You my wife. You supposed to, for better or worse. And I get your worst or you get my worst too. Yeah. Oh, here it is. Here it is. You are a funny little porcelain. I think you got Napoleon syndrome. No. What were you about to say? Alright, I gotta figure out a way to do this. That's good. It was made with love. Is that getting you all hot and bothered? No. Sonya, we're married. They know we fucking. This is my growner audience on YouTube. They know what's happening to you. They don't know what you look like, so they can't like visualize it. Wait, they do actually. Well, no, you only pictures I got with you are in like some kind of costume. Like you're wearing a mask of some kind, or you got on makeup of some kind. Yeah, but that's not you. That's Ursula. Looking like a hog. Oh my god. What about you posting the one where I got a missing eyebrow? It is your fault. You stress me out. Make my eyebrow hair fall out. I don't know where the fuck to get this function out. I don't know if there's a way to get this function. I don't even know if this is important. This function is not called anywhere else, I don't think. I can look for it. Maybe there's a... Yeah, this is literally called here and 2 other places. And this stats dump commandlet, I guarantee you this is not in a cook build. ACL plugin. Maybe. I bet you it's uncooked though. No, runtime. So technically I can use this function. Yeah, technically I can just call the static function. What's the class name though? Is this just a private function? This commandlet is used to extract and dump animation compression statistics. I just don't feel like we should be using this. Okay, the functions aren't even like visible. So this is definitely not gonna work. Oh, why ain't you going to your own? Alright, my wife was on lunch. So technically we can't really use this. We need to pass in the base transform here. Where would I put this up? Yeah, I'll just do it. Const F transform base actor transform like that, and then this way we can pass, because we're going to need to call this function here, which means that we're going to need to get the position from last frame, which means we need to base it on where we were last frame. So instead of multiplying this against the mover thing here, we just use the base actor transform. I think that's the right order. You actually have to do that multiplication in the correct order too. So it's the mesh times the actor, and then the bone times the mesh. Bone times the mesh, mesh times the actor. All right. Cool. We did that so that we can do this. So technically, we need to know. We needed more information here. We need to know if the ball was in the left or the right hand at the time of this pose. So we can use the right ball. Excuse me. Left foot can be okay. We just get just call extract bone transform from this move to check, and the bone name is foot L. Whoops. Time is eval time, and then our transform should be mover components. You know what? If we don't have this mover component, get last mover default sync state, then we need to return here as well. You know what? Let me just make this easy. What the fuck was that? Let's not be counts here. Same thing here. Call this, but for foot R. You see, I'm using a really simple motion matching. So, like I said, here we need to know const f name, ball. I think basically both of my bones should work. So just for now, I'm just going to use weapon R for now, because I key them together. Okay, that's all the errors there. We got some more I saw somewhere else. I can't think of where I saw them puppies at. You know what? One thing we're not doing correctly for when we get smart move montage data. Yeah, this here is gonna be a problem. These functions need to change. So target move is valid. We don't care about this group. We really just want to go. Get smart move montage from data. So somehow we get here to these whatchamacallits. Smart move group ID. We look through. We look over the groups. Ooh, I think we can still cache this because ultimately what we do, I think we end up using the tag to find. Nah, hell nah. Find closest smart move data. This is not good, actually. Smart move library. Hold on. How do I need to do this now? This needs to change. Since we are not using this anymore, we are actually using the smart move database. I think that's where I have this data at. Database. No, it's the sections. Okay, the section actually has the library in it. And so we still need to put that helper function in there. That same function that's the same function that is, where is that at? What the fuck? Is this the same class? Oh no, it's the sections. Okay. Yeah, this helper function needs to be moved up to, I want to say to here. You know what's crazy? I haven't even tested this code. I expected it would work, but I haven't even tested it. It's just an idea right now, but I still need to copy it. Where is that at? This guy. No, we need to go to the library. No, we need to go to this section. My bad. And in this library, we need this function. And this is going to return a montage pointer. My wife is a funny person. She's cute. Okay, and then we can just paste this in here right now. We just gotta call load synchronous on this, I think. Oh wait, hold on, wait, what? Why is this a problem? Oh, because this needs to be tsoft object pointer. And then this needs to be load sync. You know what I'm gonna do? I'm not gonna load these unless I have to. So here, we'll say if this is null, then we'll load one of those. It's not bad to load one of these. It shouldn't be that much data. Current delta is d.key minus coverage int angle, and if current delta is less than or equal to lowest delta, the result equals this. You know what? Here, let's actually do this, because this is gonna bother me. If we just make this a soft reference, we can just pass the soft reference around, and then we only load it when we want to return it. This should be a lot better right here. Alright, cool. We pretty much just need to patch that in. Instead of using the libraries, we could just use the sections. But this code, I'm a little bit rusty on what this code is for, and I gotta go to the bathroom. So I'm actually gonna stop the stream here, and I will see you guys tomorrow. Peace.